Yes, and once I bought a pair of socks. What about you or your sister?
I don't
Remember.
Lema?
Alpaca. Alpaca.
Cool.
Yes. I always say hello, but I don't know if this is.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Nice. Okay. And then I'm Kristen, just to remind you, I teach Spanish. Okay, awesome. So what I'm gonna have you do, I'm just gonna say this again, so in case you missed it, and now I'm recording. So you're gonna, I'm gonna run a class just like I would in the after school world. And then your job is to kind of like think of a kid in your mind that you're struggling with right now, that you're like, oh my gosh, this kid is like difficult for me, right? And your job is to kind of like, when you don't understand something, to act like a kid. Or any other time that like makes you feel like that kid would act that way in that moment. Okay, does that make sense? And then I'm just gonna run a class as normal, and then yeah, we'll see where it goes. Okay, muy bien. Okay, so first, what I always have my kids do is they can't enter their room unless they know the secret password. So everybody out. Okay, so you're going to use this moment to like kind of get into character. I'm going to give you like 5 seconds. Shoot. Okay, ¿listos? ¿Listos? Okay. Muy bien. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hola. Oh, mira, asombroso. Asombroso. Repite. Asombroso. Muy bien, muy bien. Muy bien. Excelente. Asombroso. Pasa, pasa, pasa. Asombroso. Asombroso. Muy bien. Mira, pasa, pasa. Asombroso. Asombroso. Muy bien. Asombroso. Muy bien. Sí, muy bien.
I didn't think the English meant. What is awesome, Rosa?
Awesome.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Muy bien. Muy bien. Pasa, Miquel. Pasa. Okay. Oh, clase. Hola.
Hola.
Hola. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás en inglés? 1, 2, 3. ¿Cómo estás en inglés? Tú sabes cómo estás en inglés. 1, 2, 3.
How are you?
Muy bien, es muy inteligente. Es muy inteligente en inglés. 1, 2, 3.
Intelligent.
Muy bien, chocolate. Muy bien, Michaela. Okay, mis amigos, mi amiga Michaela es muy inteligente y ella sabe en inglés, 1, 2, 3.
No.
Ella sabe que ella sabe mucho español. Es fantástico, ¿sí? Fantástico en inglés, 1, 2, 3.
Fantastic.
Muy bien, excelente, aplausos, 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 muy bien. Clase, Michaela va a dibujar. Dibujar en inglés, 1, 2, 3.
Draw.
Draw, muy bien, Michaela. Are you ready to draw? ¿Estás listo para dibujar? See? Okay. So today, one thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be using these things called graphic organizers. It's really fancy for a place to draw and show that you understand. Michaela understands so much. So Michaela, are you ready to draw? ¿Estás listo? Okay, come have a seat.
Excuse me,
Siéntate.
I don't think it's fair that she gets to draw, but I don't get to draw.
Muy bien, muy bien. Buena observación. Clase, Hannah es muy inteligente. Hannah quiere, does everyone want to draw? Because that was my plan. It's like she was reading my mind. Clase, el plan is today we're going to be listening to first we're going to play a game, and then we're going to listen to a story. Your job is to write on the back, just for now, just write on the back of a graphic organizer. I'm going to give you each a different one. Feel free to trade if you need to, okay? And you're each going to get one graphic organizer. On the back, this side, the blank side, okay, on the blank side, Michaela, do you want to lead calendar today? Are you ready to do that? Will you bring that over? ¿Puedes traerlo? Yeah, bring the whole thing over. Michaela es muy inteligente. Muy bien. Aplausos, Michaela. Aplausos, Michaela. Muy bien. So today, as I describe the game, you are going to be drawing what you think I'm saying. Okay? So here we go. Michaela, are you ready to lead the calendar? ¿Quieres hacerlo? Okay, Michaela, ¿quieres hacerlo ahora en este momento? ¿Sí? Okay, go. Dale. Sí. Hoy es lunes.
El
20. Sí.
de
Enero. Muy bien. Muy bien.
del 2020.
20. Sí. And if she were really a student in my class, like she would know that all of the like translations are on the back. And if she gets stuck, you could show them to the students. So that would be something I would like model for the kids so they could like, if you were leading it, you could show that and really show off that like, I know what I'm doing. Like I've watched Kristen enough, kind of thing. So, muy bien, clase. Aplausos para Michaela. Gracias, Michaela. Clase, hoy, en inglés, 1, 2, 3. Hoy. Yeah, muy bien. Michaela, ¿es en inglés?
Is
Sí, muy bien. ¿Lunes en inglés? ¿Lunes en inglés? Muy bien, es lunes. Muy bien, aplausos. Do you want to change it so it's correct? ¿Es correcto? ¿Quieres cambiarlo? And again, she would know, like, I prepped them with this. Like, they would know that the extras are in here. So, muy bien, Michaela. Gracias. Okay. All right. Who's ready to draw on their graphic organizer based on the game? Ooh, I love how a mí me gusta. Ella está mirándome. She's watching me. Ella está mirándome. Gracias. Tú estás conmigo. Muy bien. Tú estás conmigo. Tú estás conmigo. Muy bien. Clase. Hoy en inglés. 1, 2, 3.
today.
Muy bien. Hoy vamos a jugar. Vamos a jugar. En inglés. 1, 2, 3.
Going to meet.
We're going to play. Muy bien. Vamos. Do this with me. Vamos. Let's jugar. To play. Vamos a jugar. Vamos a jugar un juego. Un juego en inglés. 1, 2, 3. A game. Muy bien. Woohoo. Super bien. Un juego. I love games. Okay, so clase, a mí me encanta juegos. Muy bien. Sí, mis amigos. will you go sit next to my friend? ¿Puedes sentar? Will you just talk to her? ¿Puedes hablar con ella? Muy bien. Sí, ella está un poco triste. Are you missing your family or something? Es muy triste. Es muy triste que la familia no está contigo. Es muy triste. En inglés, 1, 2, 3.
Sad.
Sí, es posible. No sé exactamente. No soy experta. No sé exactamente en inglés. 1, 2, 3. Muy bien, exactly. I don't know exactly. Okay, let's say, primero, here's our game. Primero, get ready to take 3 to 5 notes or drawings on the back of your graphic organizer. Okay? 3 to 5. 3, 4 o 5. 3, 4 o 5. Okay, número 1. Okay, número 1. Roca. En inglés, 1, 2, 3. Roca, muy bien. Roca, papel. Muy bien. Papel, muy bien. Michaela, are you ready to learn this game? You've played it with me before. Papel. En inglés, 1, 2, 3.
Paper.
Muy bien. Y tijeras. Tijeras en inglés.
Scissors.
Muy bien. Michaela, okay. She's going to demonstrate. Demostrate conmigo. 1, 2, 3. Dale. Roca. Igual. Otra vez. En inglés, 1, 2, 3. Again, muy bien. Otra vez. Conmigo. Otra vez. Muy bien. 1, 2, 3. Dale. Muy bien. Tijeras. Igual. Necesitamos diferente. En inglés, 1, 2, 3.
Different.
Sí, muy bien. Ding, 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 ding. Muy bien. 1, Michaela. Otra vez. 1, 2, 3. ¡Dale! Oh, yo gané. Lo siento. Ok. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. ¡Dale! Oh, tijeras. Ok. Chocolate. Muy bien. ¿Quieres? Ven. Michaela. Tijeras. I should have done this the opposite way. Tijeras gana contra papel o roca.
Con papel.
Papel, aplausos. ¿Es correcto, clase? Es correcto. Muy bien, ok, muy bien, chocolate. Muy bien. Clase, papel gana contra, Michaela, papel gana contra roca o tijeras. Papel. Roca, muy bien, Michaela, muy bien. Ok, ¿es correcto, clase? ¿O no? Es incorrecto. Es correcto. Muy bien. Ok, y otra vez, Michaela, conmigo. 1, 2, 3, dale. Muy bien, Michaela ganó. Muy bien. Roca contra tijeras. Michaela ganó. Muy bien, Michaela. Do you want to draw on my whiteboard? ¿Quieres dibujar? Venga. Okay, so this.
Excuse me, I just don't think it's fair that she gets to draw on the whiteboard and you don't.
Yeah, next week it's your turn. Don't you worry. I'm taking care of you. Take cuidado. Okay, will you draw here? ¿Puedes dibujar aquí? You want to do it right now, don't you? Tú quieres hacerlo ahorita. I have another zero right. Would you like to write on this whiteboard? What do you think? Okay, you go draw over there. Puedes dibujar. You gotta be paying attention. Michaela's gonna be paying attention as well. Necesita prestar atención. Muy bien. Okay, número 2. So, rock, paper, scissors. Roca, papel, tijeras. Who's played it? ¿Quién ganó? ¿Quién jugaba? Si yo jugaba, tú jugaste. Si tú jugaste. Muy bien, excelente. ¿Y tú?
Sí.
Muy bien. Okay, fantástico. Muy bien. Hannah, Hannah, ¿tú jugaste roca, papel, tijeras? ¿Sí o no?
Yes, see.
Sí. Okay, fantastico. What are you drawing?
But
Kids,
I'm trying to bear.
Oh, and also, okay, that's not part of our game, but you're gonna see what animals are. Who likes animals? ¿Quién le gustan animales? A mí me gustan animales. A mí me gustan animales. A mí me gustan animales. Sí, muy bien. Okay, so first, roca, papel, tijeras. But first, primero, huevitos. You're all little eggs. Michaela, do you mind drawing an egg for me? ¿Puedes dibujar un huevo? Right next to the word huevo. Will you draw an egg over there? ¿Puedes dibujar huevo? Okay, muy bien. And then after that, you convierta. Okay, so huevo. So you and I, we're all eggs. Ready? Down, abajo. Huevo. Oh, muy bien. Es un huevo. Es fantástico. Okay, so huevo. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. Ay, Dios mío. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. Muy bien. Yo gané. Ella es un huevo. Oh, fantástico. Huevo. Y yo avanza. Avanza en inglés. 1, 2, 3. Advance, yeah. Yo avanza, ella es un huevo. Next, will you draw a chicken? Hannah, un gallina. Cluck, 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 cluck. Gallina. Okay, después, gallina es muy bien, fantástico. Dinosaurio. Muy bien. Y después, dragón y unicornio. Muy bien. Feel free to erase whichever ones you don't want to be on here. Okay, amigos. So, por favor, roca, papel, tijeras conmigo. 1, 2, 3, dale. Muy bien. 1, 2, 3, dale. ¡Tú ganaste! Clase, if we are eggs, si somos huevitos, what does she become? Ella avanza a gallina. Gallina. Muy bien. If Frederic y yo somos dinosaurios. 1, 2, 3, dale. Muy bien. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. Oh, yo gané. Who advances? ¿Quién avanza? From dinosaurio. Yo avanza. Si ella es dinosaurio y pierde, and she loses, ella es gallina. Y yo soy dragón. Sí. Y si tú eres unicornio, muy bien. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. Muy bien. Ella es unicornio. Yo soy dragón. Oh, Michaela, are you ready to play the game? Lista? Will you help me clean this up? Then you can play. 1, 2, 3. Rápido, Michaela. Rápido. Es fantástico. Gracias. Do you like these posters? ¿Te gustan los pósteres? No. Okay. Es normal. Yo también. No me gustan pósteres también a veces. Okay, muy bien. Michaela, vámonos. So you're an egg with me. Vámonos. Somos huevitos. Vámonos. Somos huevitos. We're eggs. We're all eggs. Oh, vámonos. Vamos a jugar. Somos huevitos. We are little eggs. Somos huevitos. Okay. Conmigo. 1. Marcador. Gracias. Marcador. Oh, es pupú. Es muy chistoso. Yes, fantástica. Okay. Huevito. 1, 2, juntos. 1, 2, juntos. Huevo. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yo gané. Es muy triste. Muy bien. Tú eres un huevo y yo soy gallina. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Okay. Busca huevo o gallina. Huevo, okay, huevo. Muy bien, Michaela y Hannah y Cristina y yo. 1, 2, 3, dale. 1, 2, 3, dale. Oh, yo gané. Tú eres huevo y yo soy dinosaurio. Es muy triste, Michaela. Es posible que Michaela es triste. No, no te preocupes. Huevo, huevo. Huevo, huevo. Oh, muy bien. Papel, roca. Papel, papel, avanza.
Oh.
Avanza. Michaela.
Oh. No. Chicken?
I'd like to draw so much.
Oh.
You can keep drawing as long as you see.
What else is tricky? How do we do dinosaur?
Dino. Like it?
I think they're tiny hands.
Yeah.
Tiny arms.
If you want to draw, you can totally.
I can see the kids like running around having the dinosaurs chasing each other now.
Oh.
That would be
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
fun.
Totally.
Or I'm a dinosaur or a dragon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start
Like to.
acting like.
Do you need another piece of paper? Yeah, do you want to use this? This is a great color. Es un color fantástico. Okay, who is? Oh, está bien. ¿Quién es un huevo? I'm an egg. Soy un huevo. Soy un huevo. Are you an egg? ¿Tú eres un
No,
huevo?
I'm a chicken.
Gallina. Soy una gallina. Muy bien. ¿Tú eres un huevo? ¿Tú eres un?
No.
No. ¿Estás frustrada? Sí.
Sí.
Es normal. Es completamente normal. Es completamente normal. ¿Y tú? ¿Tú eres
Dinosaur.
dinosaurio? Dinosaurio. Muy bien. Dinosaurio. Oh, wow. Ella es avanzada. Avanzada en inglés. 1, 2, 3.
Advanced.
Muy bien, ella es avanzada. Muy bien. Okay, so pause in our little like classroom activity. This is great. So I just want to kind of reflect. This is a game I play quite often. So and it's a favorite of the kids. And so I try to break it down, but as you can tell, well, what do you think? Like, was it hard to understand for you?
Do you always do the same, like egg, chicken?
Yeah, you can throw whatever you want in there. Like I just stole this from another teacher. So, but what the students always throw in their own, like after a unit, they want to keep going and advancing, and like, so they threw in Phoenix one time, Phoenix, and it was, and that was what we did for Phoenix. So each one has a motion, and I might have them practice those motions, and then we play this game literally all the time. And I don't know why, it like, to me after a while it gets kind of boring, but like for them, they like, they want to play all the time. So it's just really simple. So in order to add some literacy to it, like I might say, okay, we're going to play this today. But before that, I would do like, I would write up a description of the game. So I'll show you what that looks like. So just pause on like the classroom management stuff. But let's reflect on that first. How do you guys feel? Like I could tell you were being really shy. And so you must have a student who's like pretty shy. What, how did I, like, give me feedback. Like, what I was doing, did it work for you as a student or not?
Well, like when you pointed out the eye contact, that really made me want to keep looking at you, because I was, it was something that I was doing a little bit, but not a lot.
You were like
And
shy
so,
to do it. Yeah, too afraid.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
That's called narrating the positive. I wrote that under classroom management over there. It's where you are literally just naming what they're doing so that you can get the rest of the class. I should have done it more with Michaela, actually.
And also when I spoke really, really quiet, she didn't go, huh? What? I can't talk louder. You just kind of said, oh, good job, because I tried.
Yeah, because you're trying, and that's what we want. Yeah. Cool. How about for you? Did you feel like you were, like, give me feedback if it was working, if it wasn't?
Yes, maybe I was thinking of a little boy in the class, and he sometimes if he doesn't win, he will go away or
Yeah,
do something.
he gets
else.
upset.
So what to do with that?
Yeah, okay. I didn't pick up on that, so that's on me. So what I do with it, and it's not foolproof, but what I do is I just kind of like I name the emotion they're feeling,
Yes.
and sometimes I'm just guessing. just totally guessing. Like with you, I said, maybe you're missing your family. Like, because some kids, like, that's literally all it is. Like, they're at school all day, or they go to aftercare, you know, or maybe they have, you know, a nanny taking care of them. They just miss their families, you know, and like sometimes just naming that is really helpful. And you might get a kid that cries. And I say that's good. I welcome the crying because you want them to go from being mad or shut down to sad. Because if they're crying, there's evidence in, like, you probably already know this, that you've probably experienced it as humans, like that you get this release that cannot happen any other way, physiologically speaking, when they cry. So you want them to cry because then they're vulnerable and you can support them through that. So I love it when kids cry. Like I like almost celebrate it inside because I'm like, hell yeah, they're moving through it. Like they're not going to be stuck. They're not going to be angry anymore. So I try to name it. I name what they're feeling. Like, gosh, you really wanted to win.
Yes.
Like, you must be so sad that you didn't win. Like, I don't like losing either. Or frustrated. I said you're frustrated. Okay, that's what. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I try to name the emotion because then the kids, what we're doing too is like helping them to be like emotionally sound for the future as well. So I don't know. That's something I do. You don't have to. Like some people, it's like scary to do this, but I always recommend it to teachers because it's a really good way to help them move past their emotions. Because otherwise they just feel like you're telling them to get over it. And nobody likes to be told to get over it, you know? Like even if you're like ignoring it. Like you're
then, as a small boy, I feel good to know that it's okay. You know that I am frustrated.
Yeah.
Maybe next time I will win.
Yeah.
But I would not have been happy if you said, "Oh, you should not be like that."
Yeah, it's really like, yeah, I know. I remember as a kid feeling that way, like, oh, you should just be happy that you're here. And it's like, well, you know, like, yeah, it's like you're minimizing those emotions. Like those emotions have to come out somehow, right? Like, and knowing that they're not alone in that journey is really important. And I've gotten to the point in some classes where I can literally say it in Spanish, like, estás triste, you are sad. Like, you're frustrated, like I said to you, right? Estás frustrada. Yeah. And you're like, yeah. And like, I'll do that. I'll like stomp the floor and be like, let's get it out. Like, estoy frustrada, you know, and just like act it out. Like, yeah, I don't like losing either. It sucks. Like, you know, just to like empathize with them so they know they're not alone. That's my strategy with emotions. But how about for you? Like you are like, I was like, oh, Michaela's like put me to the test. I liked it. What?
I feel like I have like 5 of these kids in every class that I have.
Really?
Like all the time.
It's hard because I feel like for me, I don't know if you feel this way. I feel like it just takes so much attention away from the group. Like,
yeah, and then the kids that are doing a good job are like,
Yeah, and they're
well,
like,
I'm just following directions. I'm just like waiting here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, Christina, like trying to get them to.
because you're away
Totally.
from them. Yeah.
it's so hard.
Uh-huh.
I know that's when I'm not always the best at this, but I'll try to like put on a video if I can, like really quick, or a song or something, and like get them doing something they already know how to do, or I get them drawing the rest of the class before I go deal with that usually. But I don't have a perfect formula.
What
Because
was it that you said to her in the beginning, like over there and nobody could hear? Do you remember?
I was like, oh, do you like to draw?
Yeah,
I think,
to draw, you can draw.
yeah. And then I said, when she was over there and you were like, I don't have a partner. Or like, I was telling her, I was like, hey, as long as you stay in your seat, you can draw. If that's something, you know, like I try to make minor compromises, but then you kept bringing it up. Like that's not fair.
Yes.
And you're always going to have those kids too, who are like, they see the inequity.
It's like every class, and even when I try to like make everything so same, like the littlest thing, like total meltdown.
Yeah, that's so hard. Then you're dealing with a kid who feels like they don't get their way very often, and they're being told all the time to get over it. Or at home,
She
maybe.
always gets her way. And
Or she always gets it right. It's like usually one or the other. They're either told always to get over it, or it's usually one or the other. Wow.
But then it's hard
So
because I like giving people special jobs, like, you know, and but then you can't.
Yeah, so things I've done with, if I have kids like that in my classes who are not okay with that, what I was doing with her, then I make up a schedule and I'll like bring it out. Be like, oh, look, your turn is coming. Like, I can't wait to see what you do. And then I just move on. Because it's not worth the energy. Like they might get pissed and they might be sad still, which is understandable. But it's okay for them to be upset. Like you can't like make them always happy.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I struggle with the most is someone like Michaela, who like what she was acting out, like just not engaging over and over again. And it's taken me a while to like I have to talk to the parents. But I always spin it really positively, and I'll say things like, you know, like kind of like what we dealt with your class at was it Hawthorne?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, she had a few kids that just were not engaging, and so I've one thing I've done this year that I was doing with you was narrating the pot. Like I love it when you look at me, like you were looking at me, and
you
then
told
just
her she was smart.
yeah, and I told her she was really smart and trying to like showcase her a little bit up here. But that only held her attention for so long, and I'm sure you get kids like that. So, do you guys have any like input of ways that I could have done it better, or that successes you found?
Well, and I have a kid that's exactly like that. She'll just wander the classroom.
It's so
And it seems
hard.
like no matter what I say, she does not listen.
Have you talked to the parents, or have you?
I did once.
Yeah.
I tried to be like really, like, you know, she's not doing like bad things.
Yes.
But she's just not paying attention. I don't know.
It's difficult.
It is, yeah.
One thing I've done, like let's say I've spoken to the parents separately and the kids separately. Sometimes I'll bring them together after class. I'll say, hey, after class, can you stay for like 5-10 minutes? And I just talk to the kid as I would talk to a kid really positively. Like, I love having you in class. You are such a unique individual. Like or whatever you know about that kid. Like you love to draw, or you really like, playing games, or you're a good leader, or whatever you want to like highlight in their skill set, right? And I say those things in front of the parent, and I'll go, but I really need you to engage and stay, or whatever you want to say. Like, I want you to stay and participate. And then the parents have a language to go home with and say like, wow, like Miss Christina like sees you. She gets that you like sports, or gets that you are a dancer. And like, you're going to make plans to maybe include a dance for her. Be like, I was thinking of you. Like, I planned a dance that we're going to learn from, I don't know, Chinese culture. That's really simple. Maybe. I'm just throwing that out there.
Sometimes I say, a lot of times I say, we have to respect the classroom, because she'll like mess with
Oh
all the
yeah.
stuff. I'm like, we have to respect the classroom. This isn't our stuff. We had it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes she'll listen and like put stuff back, but other times I have to like.
Yeah. It's so hard. Yeah. One thing I've done with that too is like add that into my norms that I do at the beginning. And now's the time of year when they need those refreshers. Like, what are the norms in here? Like, and so that's what I called up there, norming the class, or setting goals. Like, so, okay, today our goal is to not touch the teacher's stuff. Like, that could be one of your goals. Like, today our goal is to keep our hands to ourselves. Like, today our goal is to, and I forgot to do that with you guys. That's the skill I'm working on. Is I'll always say, okay, I'll always tell the kids what we're gonna do. I'll say, I try to, again, that's something I'm trying to incorporate more of, and say, okay, our goal for today, by the end of today, you'll know how to play this game and you'll know how to read about it. And our other third goal might be like a behavioral goal that you're working on. And, or they can be just like listed in your class norms that you have established. So yeah, those behavioral things I think does that make sense what I'm saying? Okay. Kind of. Okay. Cool. How did you feel? How did I treat you? Do you have any feedback?
Good. It was like it making me, assuring me that I'll get a turn and stuff. And one thing I've started doing with the student, and it seems to help, is sometimes I just forget because I don't think that there's anything
Yeah.
could possibly be unfair, but then she finds it.
Of course.
But like just saying, before we do something, like we have, all these different colors of paper. Some of them aren't exactly the same. And can we all agree that that's okay? And if you like make
That's
her
so great.
say, like, yes, that's okay, before she can like think about how that's not unfair.
Yeah, like
then
it's
she's
gonna.
okay with it.
Yeah.
If it's like her.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a leading developmental psychologist named Dr. Gordon Neufeld, where I pull a lot of my strategies from, and he recommends doing that. Like beforehand, you say, it's not everything is going to be equal. Can you be okay with that? And getting them to go like, yeah, I'm okay, is a really powerful thing for a kid to like internalize. That's awesome that you do that.
Yeah, but that was great. Like kind of calming me, making me be like, okay,
Yeah.
Instead of, I think it's so tempting sometimes for me to just be like, it's like you're fine. It's fine,
Yeah, because you want to just be like, get the heck over it. Like it's a stupid red piece of paper. Like it's gonna be okay. You're gonna forget about it in a week.
So positive.
It's hard though. It's so hard because part of you is like, are you kidding me? Like,
For shades of yellow.
yeah, you're like, really? But for them, that's their world. Like, and it's sad to say, but it's not sad. It's just how it is. Like they're just little.
Yeah.
How old are these kids? How old is she?
Fourth grade. So she must be
9, 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fourth grade.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She's one of the older kids.
Oh wow, cool. Is this a Middle Creek or no?
No, this is.
You haven't started yet. Meadow Line. Got it. Okay. And then go ahead.
Sometimes the kid who's like acting like Michaela,
Yeah.
it seems like they can take a lot of your attention and energy.
Uh-huh.
And so, do you ever like ask them to leave or ask them to talk to someone else so you can keep on teaching? Or
Yes.
Or do you just tend to ignore them sometimes? Or how do you?
Good question. I've done a little bit of all of what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm kind of weird. I think I tend to just like want to be like self-sustained.
Uh-huh.
I really like that because I kind of go into every class feeling like kind of like we're a family, we're a community, and you're staying. Like,
Right.
and maybe that's kind of backwards. I don't know. Or weird, but I kind of just like approach every situation like that. Like,
For me, I
like
feel
you're really important. We value
I
you.
can't
We
handle
need
it
you.
if I ask them to leave or go talk to another
Okay.
teacher or something.
Yeah.
And it shows the kids that I can't handle it.
Oh,
For me.
right.
Yeah. I'm with you on
So
that.
is there something else you do besides ask them to, with the HOE program, we've got Elizabeth Williamson in the hall. And
Yeah.
then I've got, 27 kids for 1
that's
hour.
hard. When
And it's
Yeah.
just like if I've got too many of them, she tells me just send them out to me. And I've been doing that some.
I mean,
because
yeah.
that's just manageable for me.
I mean, I
Right.
think there's pluses and minuses to both for sure.
Uh-huh.
I think the beauty of having someone like Elizabeth there is she's going to talk to that kid and be like, you are like, they really like having you in there, and she's going to try to mend that
Right.
relationship enough that like you're
send them
not
back, and
because
she sent them
essentially
back and they apologized to me at the
Totally.
end, and it was good.
yeah. I mean, I would caution against like if you feel like it's a forced apology, that's never good.
Right.
Because it's like I feel like we do that too much in our
Yeah.
society personally, like
Mhm.
like go say sorry.
Yeah.
And really like there's no heartfelt and then
really
they get to be
sorry, yeah.
adults and they're committing sexual assault and
Yeah.
they can't apologize
Yeah.
because they were forced to do it too much. I'm
Right.
sorry, I'm like going really deep with that.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
like
actually, we had a big conversation
we're raising the
about
future,
this,
you know?
with my son at Christmas because when he was at Emily Dickinson in first grade and he got he he got in trouble for pushing a kid down the slide who wouldn't go. And he was waiting and waiting and asking him to go, and finally
Yeah.
he pushed him. And then the kid said, "I'm telling on you." And he was forced to say he was sorry to that kid, but he wouldn't. And so then they had to tell me about it. And we talked about this, and he's like 26 years old now, my son. He still remembers it.
It can be scarring. Yeah.
I was forced to apologize at work as an adult to some people, and I was like, "Hi,
Yeah.
you know, like, why should I say?" Because I was a rate waitress, and I offered them the specials when I recommended it, and they got it, and apparently they never said anything to me, but they didn't like it. And so later they told the owner that I like forced them to have this meal, and they made me apologize to these people. And I'm like, what?
Sorry.
No, that's really weird.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what you don't want is that situation.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that is going on there. I'm just
These kids
throwing that out there.
were sincere about it because they were being really disruptive.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm really protective of my classes. And so, like, again, if it was Elizabeth, I would know that she's trying to mend that relationship. Because essentially what's happening is the kid is feeling insecure about something, scared about something, worried about it, whatever it is. They're acting out. You're reacting to them acting out by sending them out, right? And then so in that process, the relationship between you and that individual gets damaged a little bit, right? And so, and you don't mean to, obviously, but and neither do they, obviously. But by sending them out, they might feel like you said, like, she can't handle me. Like, me and all of my emotions and everything I'm bringing to the class are too much for this teacher. Then they start to feel like insecure. But if it's Elizabeth, we know that she's like really good at mending that. And so unless I know that person is doing it, I don't send them out. But what I will do is I put that in the norms that I go over. If I have like a serious issue with a kid who's like draining all of my attention, kind of like I felt a little bit like that with Michaela just now, is like I'll put that in my norms that I would write right here, and every single week we return to it, and then I would be having tons of private conversations with her and her parents, and then her and her parents together. And just like I would keep circling back to it in really positive ways, because otherwise I'm not going to help her to change. You know, she might bail on the class. Like, some kids will just be like, I don't even want to be here. And that's like, if a kid wants to go, I'm sad, but I'm like, well, you didn't want to be here. It's okay. Like, I tried. But I like to let them come to that decision. Then that's just me.
So do you ignore them sometimes? I think what you were doing was actually trying to find something that could occupy her.
Yeah, I mean, I do both. What I found this year, narrating positive, like what I did with both of you and eventually you guys, is I was like, I love how your eyes are on me. Like, thank you. And then it kind of sent a message. How did you feel when I did that? Did you feel like you kind of came and sat down, I think, and you were like looking at me for a moment. I don't know. Am I remembering that incorrectly? Okay.
I think something I struggle with is like, because I do narrate the positive, but if it's like 50-50, where like half the class is looking at me and half the class is like off.
Yeah.
I don't care. Because then once there's like a squad of them,
They're peer attached.
yeah, then they're like, oh, well, like so-and-so isn't listening to Michaela either.
Then in that case, you're going to have to do like a heavy reset. A heavy reset is really where you're like, you kind of come in and you're a little bit of a bitch. Like you're really, really positive, but you're like, these are our goals. You keep going back to your norms or your goals or whatever you call them. And you just like, you're like, we can't have fun in here unless these things happen. Or you spend a whole class where you're having them recreate the norms, you know, like depending on how you feel. Or you're calling the parents and going, hey, like, I really could use your support. Will you talk to your kids at home about staying? And then you're pulling them apart like individually. Because if they're a mob, if there's a little bit of a mob mentality, you're screwed. Like, and you have to like pull them apart in order to like and not physically, obviously, but like you kind of need to isolate them a little bit so you can talk to them, because otherwise they'll just like run amok,
Yeah.
and it's crazy.
Yeah, on Tuesday we wrapped up like class like 10 minutes early, and then for the last 10 minutes I was like,
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
The B word. I shouldn't have used the B word. Sorry. But you probably felt like you were maybe a little bit like, no.
Yeah. And then like to follow that up, it's like the email that's going out on Sunday is going to be like, and then also for the kids that I felt like really bad about having to hear all of that. Then at the end of class, I pulled them aside and their mom was there, and I was like, thank you so much. I'm so sorry that your peers are taking some of this away from you, and you're doing a really, really good job.
Yeah.
And here's a piece of Mexican candy. It's like,
That's amazing.
Like, because it's like, I felt so bad.
Yeah.
She was just like, she's older than all, they're all like K1, and she's in 4th grade, and she's just like.
She's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Totally.
Is
there a way to make her shine in your classes that you think she would value? Because that's my goal this year, is to like take those quiet kids, like you were quiet, and like make them shine more, because they're always doing the right thing, and you're like, you want to like showcase them a little bit, and like put them up on a pedestal. That's what I like about narrating the positive, because you can constantly be like, yeah. But do you have other ways that you've thought about? I don't know.
I mean, she's also ahead of them, like literacy wise too.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does this mean? She's like, I know.
Ah.
So it's like.
So are you celebrating that whenever she like does that? Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and also narrating the positive, because she's like always on task.
Cool. That's good. Is it working? Do you feel like she's happy, or?
I feel like she is happy, and then also just like sometimes she looks at me and she's like, not again, because it's like chaos.
Oh.
It's just like chaos, and she's just like there, like.
That's really tricky.
Yeah.
So tricky.
So.
Yeah, I have a kid who's older than the rest, and she just kind of pulls herself away. Like she'll sit on the beanbag chair and just be like, like I'm almost done here, and I don't want to be with these kids. Like,
Yeah. Is there a way you could like draw her back in?
I try to, but she
it's
just
hard.
kind of says no.
Yeah.
Come sit down, Rob. No.
Yeah. Is there a way you could give her like a calendar job, like I gave Michaela, because she was already playing with it?
I'm trying to like pull. Like I have one that's Michaela was wandering around, so I try to pull her in.
Yeah.
Most of the time, doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's hard.
It's hard because sometimes I feel like I need jobs for like all the kids, depending on like, because some of them are shining. So then, yeah, of course, want to give them something, and then also the kids are really distracted.
Yeah. Totally. It's so hard. Classroom management, I think, is our biggest struggle in the after-school program, and probably an hour of enrichment too, because it's so big. You have such a big group. So,
How
but
many students? 27.
it's a
The
lot.
same group?
Yeah, I have an assistant teacher,
That's
and then I have volunteers sometimes. But yeah, I put them into 3 different groups.
nice.
And then we did stuff that worked really well.
Good. That's cool. Like, so like they did station kind of activities, or?
Well, they were our first walk. They were 3 different football teams in Turkey.
Cool.
They competed.
Oh,
So
fun. That's
they-
great.
It was really fun. It was really, really fun. But that's over now, and so now yesterday.
You could-
I didn't really know what I was doing as far as that.
You could keep
Next
that
week I'm
going.
I think I'm gonna
Good
do
idea.
color groups. Keep the football.
Yeah,
teams going.
actually, this might work
Yeah,
for
maybe.
some of just
Yeah.
okay. So I know a teacher, La Maestra Loca, who has different classes or groups in her classes, and she gets them to compete against one another by earning points. So
That's
you have a
okay.
kid like who, so if they're doing like when you narrate the positive, like if little like Deshaun is doing the right thing, you like, ooh, point for this team, like kind of
It's
thing.
really hard with the characters that are like Hannah. We're like, but that's not fair.
Well, then you
Why
just
do
go,
you keep calling on this team?
yeah.
It's hard to keep track of in
Yeah.
Like,
But
Yeah, that's
it works
true.
really good with a
It's
big
true.
group, I think, to have 3 different
yeah.
groups.
That's cool. Yeah, you can build camaraderie and like I love the cultural tie also. That's cool.
I would feel bad. It's like when I was little, getting put with like the kids that are not listening,
Yeah.
having your group suffer because of that. So like this little, so like the girl I was
Totally.
talking about, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna put you with like the most distracted kid. I don't even know what to do because I'm just like,
Right? Yeah, it's hard. It's so hard.
yeah.
Yeah. Can you put you maybe yeah.
Maybe she could be the point taker.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. She's like not even on a team. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Not even on a team. There you go. She could shine. Yeah. It's a great way to get her to shine. I do that too when it's too hard for me, Hannah, to keep track of who is on which team and who's earning what point. I let the kids do it. I have one kid that I know I can count on, and like that kid that you're talking about, or the one in your class, like I'll have them do the points, and then I don't have to think about it. And then then some like then they don't get mad at me. They just they know that it's her job and that's her thing, and she's gonna rock it, like. But then you might have that other kid who's like, that's not fair. Why did she get to take points? And then I initiate a schedule. And I'll say like, okay, in 2 weeks is your turn or whatever. And then, I don't know. Just whatever I can do to like remove something from my brain in the moment helps me, like making a schedule. Because otherwise it just gets so overwhelming. You're just like, trying to keep them safe and teach a language and do an activity and like and find that kid that was supposed to be there that got on the bus and like your brain's going like a million miles a minute.
I had another one. So one of
Yeah.
the girls says blah 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 every time.
Yeah, I heard you say that at the beginning.
So
What okay, so when does that happen?
So on Friday when I was telling them the story about the Chinese zodiac,
Yeah.
I was speaking in Chinese and drawing on the board the pictures.
Cool.
And she's like blah 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 blah, and I'm like, okay, like well, how do I?
Wow, that's hard. Yeah, I would say something in the moment, and this might shut her down. It might not. I would say something like, "Wow, you really like to talk. Like you're really trying. Like you're trying to speak Mandarin." Or I would just like spin it positively, and then if it continued, I would go whisper in her ear and be like, "Write all that down, if she can write it down." Or I would tell her to draw it, or I don't know, just like. And then if it continues, you're going to have a larger conversation with her and her parents. And like,
Don't you think that's partly just a childish response to a second language?
I agree. Yeah.
Because that's
And I
kind of
know
how I
she's
feel
taking-
sometimes when I'm like with a whole bunch of Turkish people speaking Turkish. I get kind of exasperated and I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, your brain is just like done.
Like I'm
Yeah.
tired of this in my head,
It's hard.
I'm done, sort of thing.
Totally. I think it's a normal human reaction because at some point you're just overwhelmed with the language and not being able to communicate or feeling like there's a barrier of some sort, right?
Yes, I agree. That's why I think we should not give too difficult things to understand. Because when it's too difficult, then
They shut down.
With English, sometimes I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, I'm done.
Maybe you
Yeah.
check out 'cause
Yes.
Totally. It's a normal reaction.
Sometimes I just want
They could
to pause. I'd like to pause sometimes, go back and come back.
Yeah, that's great.
Slow down.
Yeah, because you need a break. Your brain needs that break. That actually. Okay, so I had 2 thoughts. One is you could have her be the kid who's if okay, so some kids are doing it because they're bored. They're like more advanced. They're like,
Yes.
I know all of these words, like all the words that I was getting Michaela to translate, right? She would be like, I would be like, your job is to translate everything I say every time because they already know it, maybe, right? And then it's a way for them to shine, right? Or if it's the opposite, if she's feeling overwhelmed,
I think that's
Then-
probably it. Because I know she takes Spanish on Tuesdays.
oh
excellent.
wow, yeah, then her brain is literally. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I think maybe then her job could be to ask more questions. To say like if because those kids that are like me, like who like to talk, like they want a way to like she's trying to find a way to engage with you. It's she might know it's pissing you off, but like she's gonna keep doing it because she's looking for a reaction. And she just feels like her brain is overwhelmed, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so I'm guessing she might just need a way to like express that she's frustrated or overwhelmed and say like, what does that mean? Like what?
Right.
So you might give her the word in Chinese, like what? To say over and over again, anytime. Because then when you put it in the second language, sometimes it's less vulnerable. So they have that word that they can say over and over again. Like what, like, you know, and just a way to like prompt you to explain it a little more. Or maybe say it in English even. Because then those kids, like, if they know it's their job to help the rest of the class and they like speaking, those little jobs are really helpful because it gets them, you're like turning their thing that's annoying into like a power, like a superpower, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll help, but it's hard.
Yes, it's difficult because she will have a job, another one will say, "Oh, it's not fair." She has.
Yeah.
So,
Well, then you find her strength. Like
we
I
have to be.
totally. I mean, I think the jobs that I use the most, like if I know I've got a kid in there that's like going to be upset about it, is I'll try to find out what their strengths are. I might have one kid that's the artist. I have one kid who keeps track of points. I have another kid who yells out what, like for any time they're confused. I have another kid, and once I set it up, I don't have to do it. They just do it. It like if I set it up well and give them really clear expectations, like you're only going to say that word when you're confused or when you think someone else needs help and you want to support them. Sometimes I'll say it like that because then she won't feel stupid like saying it all the time, you know?
I just thought too of like if there was some sort of flag where that person needed another job duty, somebody could have a flag and they could wave the flag when they could actually explain to the kids about second language and that sometimes, some days you're going to be really sharp and you're going to understand it, and other days it's going to be all mixed up.
Yeah, you're normalizing it.
And it's going to be hard in your head to speak or to understand.
Totally.
But then the person with the flag, when they start feeling that kind of mix-up feeling,
Yeah.
like they just quit kind of being able to understand.
Yeah.
They could put the flag up.
Yes.
And that
Totally.
the flag could mean, okay, let's just slow down and go back to
Totally.
this vocabulary.
Yeah, that's great.
That would be kind of fun.
I like
to
that.
have a flag person.
As long as you know they're not going to like poke somebody in the eye.
Yeah,
Like, you got to get a trustworthy kid. Yeah. I've had kids that are like that. They just like, they'll say that one word over and over and over. And then I'm like, why did I give them that job? You know, like, I'm like, okay, now you're only going to use it like every 3 sentences. Or I'll say you can only use it 5 times in the class. Or, you know, and then every time they say it, I'll go like this. That's the first time you said it. And then like I make it really clear, like, okay, now you've said it twice. Oh, you're getting close. Like, you know, like, and then it helps them to use it judiciously. You could do that with a flag too. Like you've waved it. Okay, good job. You did it one time. Like, you know, so I don't know. Because they're all just looking for ways to like shine in your eyes. Like you may not like the way they're asking for that attention, but it's what they're doing. Like that's what all their behavior is around, you know, like, so yeah. Okay. We didn't get to you. How did you feel during our little scenario? Okay. You were acting out, you were just trying to be.
Well, Michaela was doing
the one you were going to do? Yeah. Okay.
There could be 2 of us.
Yes.
Because sometimes that's how it is. Right? Totally. Do you guys feel like you have enough strategies that you want to try next week in that realm, like the classroom management realm? Yeah? Could we move on to like some literacy stuff? That's number 1 on our thing. Okay, cool. Do you guys find that it's difficult, looking at number 2, do you find that it's difficult to stay in the target language, number 1, Turkish, Mandarin, French, Spanish, right? And number 2, do you find it's difficult to check for comprehension? Like you could probably tell how I was checking for comprehension, right? Like that's something you could use, but I have other ways if you want. My goal this year is to try to support you guys in staying in the language. And the best way to do that is 1, going slow, really slow, slower than you think you need to. Like it's almost like I have days where I'm like, I need to be like bored when I'm speaking a little bit. I tend to speak way too fast. I have that trouble.
I think yes, we have to make some breaks sometimes and ask them, who can explain again what we've just done, or who can remember this, and then even if they show that they remember.
Totally.
That,
Yeah.
You can explain a little bit. Who can help me to explain?
Totally. Yeah. Showcasing the kids is always a good thing to do. That's awesome. Do you guys feel like it's a struggle to stay in the target language?
Yes.
Yeah. Spanish and French, we're really lucky because there are tons of cognates. So seek those out. I highly recommend. I don't know if Turkish has a lot of cognates. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably like Mandarin. Like I know in Mandarin, coffee, right? Coffee.
Well, actually, there are some in Turkish.
Cafe. Okay.
Yeah.
There's some. Okay. So I would.
That are stolen.
Yeah.
Stolen. There you go.
They're
Yeah.
coming from some other, English or
So there's
French
some
or
that-
Spanish. That's how it is in Turkish too.
Yeah. I mean, I use the heck out of cognates, and because it's a great way for the kids to go, I'm learning something, and they feel smart because who doesn't need to feel smart like on a daily basis, right? and it's like you said, it's so overwhelming for your brain. So if you can establish meaning in the ways of like drawing a picture, do that, and that's when you can showcase your kids. Like, okay, you're gonna maybe you can, let's say you're gonna play this game. And you're going to say, okay, you on this little card, you're going to draw an egg. And then you write the word in Mandarin, and then maybe in Pinyin too. And then maybe even in English just to help support them. And you just, for a little while, you repeat that. And every time you play this game, you go over it and maybe you even say I am an egg. And you get all the little eggies to stand up in the beginning and practice or sit down, like this, being an egg. And then every time you show them that card, what do? Oh, they go down, and then same thing with the chicken and same thing with the dinosaur. And you can go to each kid, do you feel ready to draw a dinosaur today? And it's a way to make it comprehensible and help it stick by simplifying. Even if you do a simple sentence, I am blank. I am the unicorn, do you want to draw the unicorn, and the more contextualize the language, the better. And the faster they'll pick it up if you keep repeating it in these fun and novel ways, with a game. Because that's the way I would highly recommend. You can stay in the target language if you can get these little cards going and you just keep reusing them, reuse the heck out of them, especially if you have a simple sentence. It's because it'll be a phrase that they can take with them and replicate in their own communication in the future. So, and then as far, I was thinking, if you have a kid that's a high flyer, like a kid that Michaela was in our scenario, who knows a lot of your language, they know a lot of French, they know a lot of Arabic, they know a lot of Mandarin, right, or Spanish. You could even do little quick quizzes. Okay, today, your goal for the day is today, you're going to take a quiz and show off how much you know. Mm-hmm. And so you do a little quick quiz. It can be verbal or it can be written. Some kids really like that academic feeling when they're you're okay, if I show, if we play this game, for instance, I might be it can be just a full thing, your quiz today is, how do you, I would say it in Spanish, ¿Cómo actúas como un huevo? How do you act like an egg? ¿Cómo actúas? And that's their quiz. You're just getting them to do the actions associated with each animal. So I do, just as a reminder, huevo, gallina, dinosaurio, dragon, and unicornio. So the camera can't see me. Yeah, so unicornio, dinosaurio, dragon,
Do they switch
gallina,
partners
huevo.
after they, like, say they become a gallina?
Yeah, I didn't get to that fully, so I didn't make that clear to you guys. I think that was my problem. I wanted to like move on a little bit, but they so once they you play all the little eggies. Everyone starts as an egg. Then if once you advance, like let's say Christina and I play and she beats me, she becomes a gallina. I stay an egg, and then she looks for another gallina. She can only go against a gallina.
Okay.
And then once she wins again, let's say she plays Frederique and Christina wins, she becomes a dinosaur. But Frederique becomes an egg. Does that make sense? So you're constantly like recycling.
That's right. When you lose, you go down.
Yeah. Yeah. So it one time I tried to play without having them go down, and it did not. Because then all the little eggs are like stuck being eggs forever, and it sucks. And they're like pissed. So understandably. So yeah, so you got it. So they kind of flow in this for a while. Like I'll play some classes want to play it for a half an hour. You can kill time that way if you want. I try to get them to say like soy, like after a few classes of playing this, I might get them to say soy un huevo, like before, like if I wanted to go up to you and be like, what are you? You know, what are you? Like I might just go, huh? And then, or I might go like, soy una gallina, like as a way of going like, are you a chicken? Soy una gallina. And you would be like, no soy una gallina, soy un huevo, or soy un dinosaurio, you know? So the eggs are pretty obvious because they're down on the ground, but the once they get to here and here and here, it like gets kind of confusing. So yeah, but I introduced that. Cool. And then some of you were talking about, I'm gonna pass these out. And I made little packets for you guys of these graphic organizers that I'm going to talk about now. But these are little brain breaks. This is another job you could give your kids. And I'll translate them. I can tell you where to find. The website is down below at the bottom if you want more ideas. You can buy it. Have you ever heard of Teachers Pay Teachers?
Yeah.
TPT. So on TPT, this is free. And I just printed the first page so you can take notes on the back if you want. But you could cut these into little strips, and they're brain breaks. And let me just show the people the thing. So this is the brain break sheet. It's from martinabex.com. And she has a ton of ideas, in French as well. She might even have some Mandarin ideas for sure. But anyway, you can cut these into little strips and put them in a little baggie or something, and have a kid who, anytime they think the class needs a brain break, they go pick one out, and you go, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or they can say it in English, or they just bring it to you and you say it. But the first one is called, each one should be in a packet format. Like, yeah, perfect. So these little brain breaks are great, and they can help add some novelty and movement to your class in a way that is productive, and they should be pretty quick. Like so, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is where you walk around and say, you give high fives to 5 people in the class. That's it. You just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, you guys, one's coming your way. Yeah, they should all be like in a group. Yeah, behind the brain break thing. Cool. So brain breaks are they're one of my favorite ways to manage a class and give a kid another job, or to switch it up and make that schedule like we talked about. Like, okay, today you're the brain break king or queen or whatever you want to call them. And then they go to that little bag or that little thing that you carry around. And if you go to the TPT website, there's 20. She has 20 back and front, so you can print it. I didn't print all of them, so yeah, it's a really good thing to add to your class. Any questions about brain breaks? Cool. Did everybody get a full packet with the graphic organizers?
I saw you did one with your hands.
Yeah, that one is one of my favorites. I love it because it gets them to build their dexterity.
Oh, okay.
So you go like forward, adelante, adelante. I keep saying forward, adelante, adelante. You could say whatever you want. Then you go backwards, detrás, 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 or al revés. I'll say reverse sometimes, al revés. And then I'll go to the next one, forward, adelante, adelante, and then backwards, detrás. And they're just like sitting in their spot. If you don't want like a bunch of chaos, this one's one of my favorites.
Right.
And then the middle one gets harder, right? And then the hardest for me, at least, is the ring finger. You go forwards and backwards, and then forwards and backwards. Yeah, it's so hard, right? The ring finger. At
It
least
just seems so easy to do with a group of kids.
Yeah.
They're all, they can all just do that.
Yeah,
I've often had kids, like fold your hands.
Yeah.
Because something.
yeah. Another quick little brain break too is some people argue that a brain break has to be where you're crossing the hemisphere, like the hemispheres. So like I'll just have them grab their left earlobe with their right hand, and then vice versa, and they just massage it, or they go up and down, or they pull on it, or whatever, and they just like touch it. And suppose it gets the right and left brain talking and communicating better. Or I'll have them do elbow to knee crossing, or hand to knee, or hand to shin, or hand to foot, whatever. And then just anything where they're crossing, like they're yeah. I might have them do that with a partner, like to grab your partner's hand, up, down, and I say it in Spanish, and we do it all together, like uno, dos, tres, arriba, abajo, arriba, abajo, and that's it. Like that's the brain break. Like really, really simple things where they're just like getting a little. It's adding a little novelty and a little bit of like movement, just enough to get, because their brains, like we talked about, is they're overwhelmed. They're like, this is hard. and I always talk to them about this, like, this is hard. What you're doing, like learning a language is hard, but you're doing it. Like, and I'll say that to them if in English, if I have to, for the first few times, because they need that reminder. Otherwise they'll just give up. They're like, I don't want to do that. It's hard. Yeah. It's like, it's hard and you're doing it. Like, holy moly. So cool. Any questions about that? I'm going to see how we are on time. Okay, so I'm going to show you this literacy thing that is like my new favorite thing to do. I love it. I'm going to erase this. So the graphic organizers, I'll be honest, I have not used them with the kids in after school. But what I love about them is you easily can, if you have that kid who's a high flyer, like you were talking about, the kid who's like older, she might want this feeling of like, I'm learning a language and I'm challenging myself in a way that's kind of interesting to her mind, maybe, and what I always do is I always make sure I'll say it in English, like so let's say, well, let me get to the graphic organizers in a minute. Let me talk to you how I do reading. So every day I've been doing this thing, and Michaela's seen me do this. This is, again, new thing for me. And I did it at summer camps too. At summer camps, I do a thing called, you can look it up, it's called, there are tons of videos of people demonstrating this. It's called Write and Discuss. I personally have not tried this after school. Because I found, I think, I'm just guessing, in my classes, I don't think they're going to have the mental capacity to sit there and tell me what to write as a form of review. So if I'm going to write a story about the game we just played, if I feel like they're ready for it, I might sit down and go, okay, what did we do first? Like I'll say it in Spanish, like, ¿qué pasó primero? What passed first? And they'll say, okay, in summer camp, I have videos of me doing this. Like, okay, they'll be like, okay, first we were eggs, right? And I'll go, all right, okay, first we were eggs. I always, whenever I write a sentence, if they're giving it to me, I try to think like, how can I make this a little more complex? So I'll say like, okay, primero, estuvimos.
But even if they, I guess, like, even if they gave it to me in the past tense,
Yeah.
I would just keep it in the present tense.
You can.
It's,
You totally can.
yeah. I just try not
I mean, the majority of language learners, at least in Spanish and French, I'm not sure about how it works in Mandarin and Turkish, but most of our language is in the past.
Yeah.
You're telling a story about something that happened yesterday. You're explaining why you did that thing. So I introduce it pretty early on, and I don't have any qualms about it. But if you do and you feel like it's too much for your students, then don't do it. It doesn't really matter.
There's no conjugation in Chinese.
Yeah, okay. So it's all in the present, right? Technically. Okay. How about Turkish? Is there past, present, future?
Yeah, there is. And there's also another one that's kind of a continuous present sort of.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't the experience with that, with teaching that. In English, we find that, beginning, intermediate students are going to talk a lot about themselves and what they did. I got up,
Yeah.
I got dressed,
Yeah.
I went to the store, I
Yeah.
did my homework. So it's a lot of past tense.
Yeah, they say that in most languages, I think I'm right in saying this, we spend more time talking about the past than we do any other tense. So
Yeah.
that's why I move them into the past pretty quickly. But again, if you don't feel like you want to do that, then don't. It's fine. So again, write and discuss would basically be like, okay, and then so I'm trying to. If they said first we were eggs, primero estuvimos huevos, and then I would find a way to make that more complex. And avancemos, is that right? Yeah. I'm terrible with weird words. Avancemos. We advanced. Avancemos a gallinas. Okay, so this is how a write and discuss would go. I would be looking to you guys, telling me what to write. You're telling me probably in English, and then I'm translating it. Okay, and then I might say, okay, and then what? Después, ¿qué pasó?
Dinosaurs.
Then if you win, si ganas, si ganas, correct me if I do any grammar weird things. Si ganas, avance. So again, I'm trying to use the words that I use. I use avanza, you advance. Is it avanzar?
Avanzar. Yeah.
So it would be avanzar.
Avanzamos.
I always have to look up things like this. And I have no qualms about showing them that I'm looking things up because I don't know everything. And I think it's good for them to see us doing that. Like, because nobody's like, I'm not an expert even in English. I look up things in English all the time. Like, So, si ganas, avanzas, maybe this would be subjunctive actually. Si ganes, right?
Yeah.
Si ganes, avanzas a dinosaurio. So that's kind of how a write and discuss would work. And then I would keep going, like, and then what? Después, ¿qué pasó?
Dragon.
Okay, so I write next, or después, somos, we are, see that, I'm switching tenses a lot here, so it might mess you up, but estuvimos, we were, dragones. Okay, so I think that has an accent. So yeah, this is a write and discuss. So you're telling me what to write. I'm trying to find ways to make it a little more complex. Adding after is like a little more complex, right? Adding the subjunctive, you have it in French, right? Do you have subjunctive in Turkish?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it's like hopes and dreams. It's a tense dedicated to hopes and dreams.
Okay.
Past, present, and future.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a crazy one.
I bet it's there, and I
Might be, yeah. Yeah.
Things are like
Adios, Hannah. Au revoir.
Bisous.
Merci beaucoup. I'll send you the video if you want to watch it. So yeah, this is a write and discuss. I'm trying to make it a little more complicated. For the kids that are visual learners, they love it. They're like, cool. I'm like, now I know how to spell that word, or I'm getting an idea of what it looks like on the page. In Mandarin, I would literally, if you're gonna do this, write 2 sentences.
Okay.
You're
Yes,
good,
I-
and that's it. Like the simplest sentences you could write. Like, first I am an egg. Next I am blah blah blah. And you may not even write that much. Like,
Yes, like in French, I wouldn't write too much because we have the same letters,
yeah,
but they are not pronounced the same way.
yeah,
So it's very confusing.
yeah,
So I would rather write 3 words and arrows.
yeah,
Speak more, and I don't want to make them
Yeah.
confused with the. And also, we have a lot of letters. We have a lot of words with letters that we don't pronounce.
totally.
So
Yeah.
First, I will not write too much.
I agree. I think it's important, and what my aim is this year is to help you guys to help them to dip their toes into literacy,
Yes.
because
So what
it will
about-
help for those visual learners. This is powerful, and in the past we've been doing a lot of things where we might write some things, but we're not. We've shied away from it in most classes that I've observed, because it's like it seems scary and daunting to kids and to us. But I want to encourage you to do a little bit of writing every day. If write and discuss seems like it won't work with your class, don't do it. I'm going to show you what I do. What were you
Okay,
saying?
so I have done we're going to write today. And so I get out those overhead transparencies.
Yeah.
So I have them copy what I'm writing. So I just write today, and then I say, okay, stroke order.
Yeah.
So first this one, then this one, then.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes.
And then.
That's great.
And so then that's it, because if I write a set, and I can't.
Literally, you
remember.
just might want to have them write one sentence that way and then call it good. And you're literally just writing a sentence like, we played a game with animals. That's all you're writing.
Mm-mm.
That's it. Maybe by the end of the year, they're writing 3 sentences like that. Maybe. Because for their little brains, it's like,
Yeah.
but
Because if I
explode,
have
right?
to write more than 3 or 4 characters, they're just.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like I gave them, Bonne année, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
But I wrote it, and they just had to color the letters.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
And they can draw around and everything to show that we're happy.
Yeah.
But I wrote the letters, big letters, on computer, and I gave
Yeah.
them the files. For some, yes, we made a cake, a special king cake with a crown. I gave them, you will draw the cake, and what is written, they just color the words.
Yeah, because some of the characters are really difficult.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
A bunch of strokes, and they.
Oh, yeah. I would pick the simplest ones and use those. Or, if you want to go for contextualized language, that one of the most common phrases is hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. You're going to do just that. Or I feel great, or I'm having a bad day, whatever it is. That's it. Just focus on that for a week or 2 and then move on.
They will be very proud if they go back home or if they have to draw the characters.
Totally.
But you just print that and they color the character,
Yeah,
and they
I
can
do
even put them on their
usually.
board in their
Totally.
room because they're proud to even write my name is
Totally.
my name. That's great.
That's so great. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, I had a boy yesterday. All of the papers have means on it. The name.
Yeah.
Name and then a blank. And he's like, "Does it say name?" And I was like, "Yes, it does."
Yay, good job.
You're like,
I've said that 10 times, maybe.
yeah, but he was so excited.
It's okay, yeah.
He knew
That's so
that
cute.
said name.
Yeah, that right? It's yeah.
Yeah.
I would want that praise too. I
Yeah.
feel smart.
I feel like in my classes in my classes we barely read and write.
Yeah.
Because they can't read and write in English.
Right.
And I'm just
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
So I'm not promoting that you have them write this.
No, yeah.
Okay, just so you know. I mean, you might have that kid who's at a higher level, or they like that challenge and they like to write, and they're very visual. You can say, you write this. Give them that option. I might have blank paper where they just take a pencil and a paper and they write it. Or I might tell them, Well, I'll get to that. But basically, like you don't have to do this. I'm just, I do it more as like I'm reading them a story based on an activity we did that they're familiar with.
Is it worth it even for like just like if I have like 2 students that can read? Is it worth it for
Yes.
them to be able to write? Like,
I
if
think
take the
so.
time right on the board and like for them they get it, and all the rest of the students are like, I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
Like,
So what all I'm doing is so the write and discuss is one method that you could do. Again, I do that. I've only done that with younger kids in the camps this last summer. But this piece is what I would do. So let's say back, you haven't seen this before, okay? So in the beginning of class, if I get there early enough or after, they might be watching a video. Like they might even watch a video of us playing the game, like just to refresh their memories if you have a video. Or another class playing the game in your language, I don't know. And then, so I have them watch a video for like literally 5 minutes, and then I write this up. So I write this up, they circle around it, and then I just read it with them. And I might have them just repeat after me. And I'll tell them, if you want to try to say it, do it. If you want to be quiet, be quiet. Like, you don't need to speak. Like, I put that out there, like, because some kids, like the quiet ones, are going to be like, this is scary. Like, or if for some of them, they're more, like, even the shy ones are more likely to speak if it's like everybody speaking at once, or me not even looking at them because it's too vulnerable. Like, because otherwise they might think I'm like, what did you say? And I'm not feeling that. Like, I don't want to be like that. So I don't want to put that pressure on them at all. So I'll just go L, and then I might go, and then you repeat it. L, título. Okay, and I might not even do like looking at you. This might be too much. L, título. And then evolución. That's the name of the game. I didn't tell you earlier. Primero estuvimos. And if I get to a word that feels big to them and they're having trouble pronouncing it, I'll count out the syllables, like evolución. And then we'll say that a few times. I might even like have them act out huevos to bring in a little bit of movement to this, so that they can know that, I don't expect them to sit the whole time. Like, they've been in school all day, So, okay, so we go the whole thing. They're repeating after me. Then I'll stop and go through it in English. And it sounds funny because it's different, right? So I'll have them, and this part I may not have them read it with me. I might just go, first, we were, and I give them the option, but first we were eggs, and we advanced 2 chickens. If you won, you advanced 2 dinosaur. After, we were dragons. If we continued, we converted or changed into unicorns. So I had a choice here to like put a few different words. This one, they might get that it's a cognate, like it looks like convert. I could have put change, but I didn't. So just if you have a choice, go with one that is more familiar slightly. And then I go the end, right? And then I'll look to them, so we read it in Spanish, we read it in English. Then I might go, who in here has big brains and wants to show off something they knew or they observed or they understood about this story that was curious to them, and they want to share it with the class. So again, it's another way of showcasing that kid that might be like the grammar nerd in your class. Like, they're like, I noticed that one kid, it literally said just this, and I was like, yay! Like, they were like, I noticed that they put S's at the end of their plural words. Or he didn't say it that way, but he was like, when there's more than one, he was like in kindergarten, and he said that. I was like, that's amazing! And like, we celebrated, and we gave him lots of applause and things like that. And then one kid might say, like, I noticed that word looks like convert, you know, like, and I'm like, yay, you noticed something. And then and they might go, oh, see, doesn't that also mean yes? And I'll be like, yeah, when you add an accent. So if you have those like grammar nerds in your class, which you probably will, they're going to love this piece where you literally spend 3 minutes letting a kid shine and say, wow, who noticed something because they're so smart, because you're all so brilliant, you know, and you're just like, it's a way to bring in those grammar kids and get them, because I was a grammar kid, like I loved the patterns and I would have loved something like this. If you do that a few times and nobody says anything, that's fine. You may want to keep doing it because they might start to notice things, or you could just abandon it. It's not worth your time, right? So yeah, and then you might notice I only have like 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. It's pretty simple, right? As far as a reading. The one you saw me do had probably like 8 sentences, I think.
Yeah,
It
but
was a little longer.
I was like really impressed with things that they noticed.
I know the little grammar brains, like they
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
like
It's
they know they observe more than we think they do by doing this. I feel like by doing this, I've noticed that a lot of kids that are quiet or really thinking deeply about this stuff, they come out of the woodwork, and it's a way for them to shine and feel valued and intelligent. So, does this seem like something you could do in your class?
I don't know. I feel like 2 of them can read.
Yeah. Then
English.
what I like about this is they don't have to read it. You're reading it to them. It's like you're reading a storybook.
Yeah.
And if you have that kid like Michaela who likes to draw and is like all over the place, I'll give them, if I can, separate whiteboard space. I'll be like, okay, you draw right here. Like I have one kid who's been with me for 3 years, and he's always like doing that thing. You know? And so at this time I was like, okay, you draw right here. You illustrate what you think it's about. And my whiteboard's a little bigger at school, but and he totally did it. And he it was a way to engage him and make him feel special. And he's a 4th grader, so he's been with me for a few years, so he knows my deal. But and he knows this game really well, so he just could draw it up real quick and then move on. And then we played the game. So this is kind of like you earn it to play the game. You earn it and then you do. So again, I wouldn't do this unless you introduce something. So sometimes I'll tell them a story, like you were saying, you do the Chinese zodiac. Like I'll do a story, I'll draw pictures, and that's actually where I use the graphic organizers for that. So I'll tell them to take maybe 3 to 5 pieces of notes. So they might say, and her notes are going to look different than your notes, and your notes are going to look different than her notes. And that's the beauty of a graphic organizer is there's no prescription. It doesn't have to be exact. And so it's a really great way to so if you do, let's say I do a story, I'll give them a choice of 3 graphic organizers. Let's say I do a story with a character. They might just illustrate the character on this one. And I might say, okay, to challenge them, I might say, okay, try to write down a word from here or a word that I used when I told the story. And if they're at that level, if they're not, just think through it, whatever. It's a way to keep them focused while they're hearing something that they hopefully understand. And then they can go home and be like, Mom, I had this story and this was what it was about and I illustrated it here. Cool. That's awesome. And then if you have your high flyer kid, they can write on the back. They can write this out at the back, They can write down all their grammar notes. Because, it's a way to differentiate without putting too much brain power in it for you. Some kids will use these story mountains. I think I gave you 2 types of story mountains. So the story mountain is this. A story mountain is pretty simple. You start here. They might draw a character or they might write down the words that go here, like a sentence even in English. I'll leave it wide open for them. I'll just say, take 3 pieces of notes. That's what Tina Harganen, who was supposed to do this training, would say. she says she'll give them a number. Like, if you feel like 3 was too little for them last time, do 5, do 7. So the pieces of notes would be like, okay, they can either draw, write phrases, write words, or sentences. And they're basically saying, okay, first this happened, then this happened, then this was what the outcome was. That's what 3 would be. And it's going to look different on each kid's page. And some kids might even choose to just listen. And that's fine too, if you're okay with that. And I make it really clear to them. I'll say, if you're not doing the story map with us today, then you either need to pick a different graphic organizer, or you need to sit quietly and or answer my questions as I'm, or whatever. But I set up the expectation, like, can you be okay with this? Like, this is my expectation. We're not wandering around, we're not touching the other teacher's stuff. We're respecting our peers, things like that. I'll set up my expectations ahead of time. And then I'll let them choose the graphic organizer. I usually give 2 to 3 options. This other one is a timeline. Like, they can do first, this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And they write the name of the story up here, or their name up here. And it can be pretty wide open. This one is where they're comparing 2 things, comparing and contrasting. So let's say you want to do a lesson about, like, the different football teams and the cities that they're in. Like, oh, this city has a famous bridge. I don't know. This one has a museum that's famous. This one has a giant football stadium that can seat thousands of people. This one has a smaller one that can only seat hundreds. I don't know. I'm just, just a way to compare things. This one is my favorite because it's for those kids that are advanced. They're very creative. They can use it however they want. And you just say, if you pick this one, go crazy. And my kids, my high school students that I use this with, they've come up with the coolest things. Like, one kid drew, like, I did a story about an Aztec legend. And the Aztec legend was about this. The character has been often compared, in an effort to convert the Aztecs, they compared this character to Jesus. The Catholic Church did. So they compared this character, and so I told the story, and they drew a mountain that the story took place on over here, and then over here they drew the different characters that were in the story, and then over here they did a little compare and contrast between the characters, and here they just wrote some notes. And I didn't put any restrictions on them. I just said you have to have I think for them I gave them 10 pieces of notes, or something that demonstrates your comprehension on the paper. And that was my proof that they understood me speaking in Spanish the entire time. They understood the story. I have evidence. Or for your little ones, it's they have something to take home to mom and dad that's kind of cool and creative. And it shows that they understood what the game that you played, or the story that you did, or the art project, whatever it is. And so it's a way to bring literacy and creativity into your lessons every day and differentiate. That's why I love these. This story map, you can use it in a variety of ways, but the ways I've seen it used is setting. I think, oh gosh, I'm gonna mess this up. I haven't used this one as much, but I think it's story, and then setting, and then the different characters, and then the sequence would be in this box, and then this would be the outcome. So it's you're starting with the title of the story or the title of the activity, then what were the characters in it? In this one, it would be dinosaurs, chickens, And then what was the outcome? What were the progression? Who went, And again, they would just take maybe you would say, okay, you need to do something in each box that relates to what we have up here, or relates to what, we did today. So I am a huge fan of these graphic organizers, if you can't tell. So cool. I want to leave time for you guys to ask questions or, yeah. We've got about 12 more minutes. What do you have any questions or feedback or?
Kind of like I mentioned, Tuesday was a really hard day.
Yeah.
For my Hawthorne class.
Yeah.
And in the email that I sent out on Sunday, I do want to remind the parents of like can you please remind your students of the class expectations
Yeah.
and what they are. But like,
How do you say that?
I don't want to send that email to all of them. I don't know. Like,
Send 2 versions.
okay, cool. Because
Why not?
I do want it to be like kind of strict if it's like the kids were really like off the chain. But for that kid that's like doing a perfect job, I don't want her parent to or their parent to think that they need to like lay down law for their student.
Yeah. I would send 2 versions.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I would do one version that you send to all the kids that are doing the expected
And then like
and praise the heck out of them and be like,
copy.
yeah, blind carbon copy. And then the other kids I would say like, hey, I love having you in class. We're going to have so much fun. Here's some things that I've noticed that need to change or that I would like to see be different and be a little more firm in that one.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think.
Cool. 2 versions. I like.
Yeah, why not? Do you guys think that this literacy piece is something you could incorporate or you would want to?
I think I might just do. Most of my kids are younger in the after-school program, so
Yeah.
I might just do like egg, chicken, dinosaur,
Yes.
and that's it,
Yeah,
and not even do a.
yeah. If you can work up to that contextualized language, like I am an egg, I am a chicken, so they can say it later.
Phrase.
But going simple is fine at first, and then add on to it. You know, yeah. And feel out your class. Like if you play this and they hate it, you're not going to do that. Like you're not going to put in literacy. Like ideally, you're putting literacy into things that they like. So I've always found that my kids love this. So I'm going to put literacy to it. You know, I'm going to tie it to literacy because for some kids this feels like a leap, and if they don't like it, it's going to feel like a bigger leap. You know, and yeah.
I think it's really great because you're creating the language for the contextualized language for them.
Yeah.
So you're not making them leap. You know how sometimes in a language course, all of a sudden you have to leap and suddenly you're supposed to write a paragraph.
Yeah.
And you've got the vocabulary, but you don't. It's hard to put it all together. So you're actually doing it for them. So to me, it's more exposure than it is.
It is.
It's like a nice step before they have to actually produce sentences.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, okay, so
yeah.
I know that huevos is eggs and we did some, and so they don't have to have that 100% comprehension. They just have to see that, wow, it does go together like English does.
Yeah, totally.
So
It's a
I
good
like
baby
it that
step.
You write it, and then you ask them, what did you discover from this, or what do you see?
Yeah.
So I think that's really.
That's where I
cool.
save my English time for, like, yeah, for sure. Because they,
And I think as a learner, I would appreciate that because it doesn't put the pressure on me.
Yeah.
I can just see, oh, okay, well,
I'll when I send out the link from this video today, I'll send a video of me reading with the kids from either one would be this summer where I did write and discuss. And one is me reading with them at Longfellow. But like at the end of class after they leave, so I might film them while I'm reading with them. Okay. And sometimes I'll have them act it out, like those words that we did over and over again. And then I'll read it again when they've left. I'll do a quick like YouTube live video, and I'll send that to parents too, and just talk about what we talked about today, because they may not look at it ever again. Like it might just go out there and nobody cares, right? But there might be a few people out there who are like, wow, like they're reading in Spanish and like she's incorporating literacy. And to me, this is the biggest way we can get languages into the school day. Like hour of enrichment is a great step, you know, and what we're doing at Longfellow is a great step. But adding this literacy piece is critical, I think, because it helps them to do comparisons. And since we're reading it in English, it like, you know, it adds pieces into like, oh wow, how do I make my writing sound more complex in English? Like it ties a lot of that stuff in, and that's why I'm like really pushing for it this year. And I think it's a way for us to get into the school day. So yeah.
How valuable is it to actually write? Because what if I like, printed something ahead of time? And
Yeah.
just had it. Because you know sometimes it takes for me at least because I'm not a native writer, of course. But so like, what again? You know.
Good question. I mean, if you feel like it's a major stumbling block for you, I think it is more important to have you just putting literacy into the classroom than to not do it, right? But Tina would say, and you know Tina, like she really promotes writing in front of them because they're in a digital world now, like we all are, right? And they're so used to people being on computers. And there's something like she would argue, I hope I'm saying it the way she would. It's like she would argue that there's an importance and a value in having them see the letters being formed in front of them. You know, like my handwriting isn't perfect here, but it's pretty clear, right? For most, you could probably read it, right? And she would argue that there's like value in that, and there's like you feel a connectedness rather than like a typed up. Maybe you could write it on a piece of paper before you get there and make copies. You know, I don't know. Maybe write it, again, before you get there on the whiteboard, you know, and take a picture of it or so. I don't know, and send that home to parents. I just think there is value in them going like, wow, my teacher, Miss Christina, wrote this. Like there's more of a connection to it when like, you know, like if you get a typed up letter from somebody, it has a different feeling than like, wow, that's their handwriting. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but but do what you gotta do. I think to me, literacy is like is paramount, like for us to keep them hooked on our languages. Because I've found that a lot, like I said before, a lot of these visual learners, they love this. They're like, I'm a reader, like, and we're not doing any reading in Spanish, you know, like that's my identity. That's who I am. Like I plow through books, you know, and so cool. I don't want to hold you guys. Oh wait, we've got a few more minutes. Do you guys have any other questions or?
Last time I was here, we did a real quick thing with Kitty wants to talk.
Yes.
And I want to try that in my class, but I was going to use Kitty Pide set, which is like Kitty wants pide, like it's like Turkish pizza sort of.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to go over that the person in the middle, they go and they ask someone, right?
Yeah.
What's the response then when they say
yes?
They say, "Do you want?"
Yep.
Do you want?
They say, "Do you want a taco?"
Uh-huh.
And they can either say yes or no.
Okay.
If they say yes, they just switch places.
Okay.
And then I say, "I am the kitty. I am the kitty. I am the kitty."
You go around. I am the kitty.
I am the kitty. And then if they say no, they can't move too. That's the other thing I've established.
Okay.
They cannot move when you're establishing a new cat. Because otherwise they'll just be going like
the
all
only
the time
you can move is when the kitty's walking around looking for someone.
Yep.
Yes.
I say that the only time you can move is once you hear them say, or me helping them say, do you want a taco?
Okay. If you hear them, do you want a taco? Then
they can start moving.
Okay.
Yep. And a lot of the younger kids, Michaela watched this when she came, they don't get that they have to be sneaky. Or they might get it, but they just think it's fun to get out of their seat.
Okay.
So they just keep moving. So you really have to like have firm boundaries around when you allow them to move.
Okay.
So were you here that time, Frederique?
Maybe. I don't remember.
I don't know if you were. Were you here? Okay,
was
it's
here,
a
but
fun
maybe
game.
I forgot.
I
the
could
name.
teach it to you. It's pretty quick, easy. It's like
We-
all they're repeating is like these few phrases, and that's it. Like, yeah.
I play it like every class.
Do you really?
Oh,
That's
They're
awesome.
like obsessed. They're
So-
just like, can we play Chaos Finance? Like all the time. And like all the talking, not all the talking, but like the question is always in Spanish. And I'm like, you substitute anything you want for, or at least like taco, burrito,
Yeah,
whatever.
right,
I don't
right.
care.
Yeah.
And then they're like, do you want gummies or something?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
sure, I don't care. Say that if you want to, and then they just like go crazy for it.
Yeah.
Fun.
It's so
And
crazy.
what's the point in them moving when is it just for fun?
So
Like,
there's-
they like to be
yeah.
sneaky.
Oh, sneak.
They're supposed
And
to
now
sneak.
can the kitty then
Yeah.
tag them if she catches them moving? Or
No. So what? So do you guys just want to play it really?
Yeah.
quick? Let's do
okay.
it. Let's do
Yes,
it. Okay.
I wanted even to
Okay.
ask you.
Yeah.
Can I see this game maybe on the?
Yeah. Let's do it right now because it's a quick one, and I'm not gonna film it
What's the name of
because
the game?